True crimers, partners in crime, it is True Crime Friday, and I am coming to you from my car while I wait for my son and his robotics. And I just wanted to continue the conversation on Sebastian Rogers. There's so much to continue to talk about this case. We have to keep his name out there. I have been doing my research and look at these notes. So there's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Sebastian Rogers was 15 when he went missing from his Hendersonville home, where he was home alone with his mother, Katie Proudfoot. Sebastian vanished without a trace. Sebastian's also on the autism spectrum, and he left with no shoes, no phone, no jacket on a very cold night. People don't just go missing. Where is Sebastian Rogers? I have some thoughts, so let's get into it. Before I do, I have to say this is for entertainment purposes only. This is just my opinion, my thoughts, my speculation. These are not facts. Please form your own opinions, and now we can get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is all the threats in this case. This is not something we commonly see in the case of missing children, right? People come together because they want to find the child. But in this case, there has been so many people that have pulled out, and I'm talking including agencies. The United Cajun Navy, they rolled into town. They were going to put on this big search and list all these people. They had, their boats and supplies, and this is what they do. And they had to pull out because they were receiving threats and they were in fear for their safety. Who is making these threats? Because they're not alone. Like, this happened over and over to many people. And what my question is first of all, who's making the threats? And why aren't they being reported to the police? And why aren't they being announced? Like, why aren't these people coming on and saying, this is who is threatening me? Calling out the people to the world. And then if they're really in that much fear, reporting it to the police. And this has happened quite a few times. The same thing. It's very concerning to me, and it's really perplexing. The other thing, to keep on the conversation about threats, is CP seems to be making some threats. He made some what appeared to come out as a threat to Mob Crew this week. And he just always seems to be angry and coming out with maybe threatening talk. I don't know. What do you think on that? I just have never seen anything like it. You'd think if you have a missing stepchild, you would come on and want to get along with everybody, and anyone that wants to help, you would want to enlist their help, not threaten and argue and defend and fight against it. It was also rumored this week that he was going to sue anyone that uses pictures of Sebastian. Why? Isn't that the main goal, is to get his face out there? So the more people that are showing his picture, the better. They do nothing, in my opinion, to change our perception on them. It's just like they dig deeper and deeper into us believing that they could possibly have guilty knowledge on this case. Just my opinion. What are your thoughts on that? I also find it interesting whenever there's a tip or a topic of conversation, CP shoots it down right away. Right away. He doesn't know what happened. He doesn't know anything about where Sebastian is or the circumstances surrounding his disappearance. But he shoots it down every time. The trash trucks. The sighting of Sebastian. Nope, that's not him. Nope, those are trash trucks. Why wouldn't he be with all of us in wanting to know? He should be having the same questions. And further, why is it that the Proudfoot's entourage, for lack of a better word, their people, their creators that have come together and support them, which is fine, but why are they so loyal, defensive? They agree with whenever CP's on a panel, they don't argue anything. They just, or not argue, but they don't ask him questions, like they just agree. They agree with everything he says. They back it up. They are like his defenders, his bodyguards, you know. They're definitely being like yes people. You know, even people that are maybe on the other team aren't that like defensive over things. It's really interesting. Like they're just so protective and argumentative and very much against anyone that doesn't agree with them, right? I don't feel that way about them, anyone, but when you hear them on these panels, they're just like so like angry at everyone that doesn't agree with them and that are against or maybe questioning CP and KP. Very quick to be defensive. It's just, I've never seen it before. One of my theories has always been that Sebastian, because of his incontinence that they have discussed, the Proudfoots, maybe a punishment was that he had to sleep in the garage. And the reason I got this in my head is because Nancy Grace, during her interview, asked about a mattress being in the garage. And the reason it was there was somebody had dropped it off, which I always thought odd, because anyone, if I knew that my neighbor had a missing child, the last thing I would do would want to bother them to say, hey, do you want this mattress? Or do you remember that mattress I was going to drop off? I'm going to bring it by. Like, I would not be, and if I was the family of a missing child, I would not care about any mattresses. It would be the last thing I was thinking about. So the fact, obviously Nancy Grace knows something we didn't or don't. But so one of my theories became, what if Sebastian was locked in the garage as a punishment? This is just hypothetical, just speculating. And the reason he didn't have shoes is because they were inside the house and he was locked out there. And what further made me question that this week is because I didn't catch something. I was listening to somebody who caught when KP is doing an interview and she says he comes in for snacks. He comes in for snacks. She doesn't say he goes in the kitchen for snacks or he sneaks in the kitchen. She says he comes in for snacks. Well, that's an odd word, to come in. You'd have to be coming in from somewhere. Could it be the garage? The only thing that keeps me away from that theory a little bit is because if he left through the garage with bare feet, you'd think a scent dog would have picked up his scent. Even more so because he had bare feet. I don't know. Or a camera. A camera would have picked him up or something. Something would have caught him, in my opinion. But it is just a theory. It is just a thought, right? If you're in the true crime community, you know that there's a lot of professionals on this platform. So they, from detectives to police officers to analysts, and Peter Hyatt, so respected, and RIP Peter Hyatt. They all point in the direction that the CP and KP have guilty knowledge of something. Every one of them. So it's hard to ignore that. So those are just some thoughts from this week. And I want to know what you guys think. This light, the Burger King lights are all flashing. They just came on. Every single one of them are going off and on. So I apologize for the lights. So I want to know what your thoughts are. Do you guys agree with anything I've said, or do you have your own thoughts? I would love to continue the conversations in the comments, and I will see you there. This is True Crime Friday, and I will see you in the next one.